my little friend. You like that?
Welcome back to the Villlain Report. I'm the 313 Villlain. Russell Wayne, the UDFA of sports podcasting. No draft hype, no silver spoon, no handshakes from the big networks, just like an undrafted dog clawing for that roster spot. I wasn't wanted in this game, but I'm still here grinding, hitting harder, talking louder, and outlasting all the so-called pros. I am the villain, the unwanted, the overlooked, but undeniable. Every show is a fight for respect. Every word is a rep in the trenches. You don't have to like me, but you're gonna feel me. It's faith, family, and football, and a whole lot of grit, and that's the Villlain Report. Let's get to work. Today, we're looking ahead to Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns, who just finished upsetting the Packers.
You like that?
We will talk about the Jameson Williams contract and what that means for the future.
You like that?
So strap in, Villain Squad, because the Villlain Report starts now. This episode is brought to you by Fanatics.com. That's right. If you're rocking with the 313 and you bleed Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking official Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, and Red Wings gear. So icy. The drip's so icy, it should come with a Zamboni. So here's what you do. You click that link in the description. Save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that Detroit fans do it bigger. They do it better. Villlain Squad don't do knockoffs. They do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. Thank you to all of the people that have joined the Villlain Squad and the 81,000 people on the Facebook page right there. And we're climbing fast, really fast. Help us storm the castle of 100,000 followers. Are you on YouTube? If you're on YouTube, that's where we need the help right there. Give me some help. Get over there and subscribe to that channel. Hit that bell so you can get notified when I'm doing more of this content. Thank you. Thank you for hitting that. That's right. So I'm on X, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. Wherever you scroll, the Villlain rolls. Connect with me on all platforms and be part of the takeover. So it is faith, family, and then football. In that order. We use football to spend time with our family. We use football to create those memories. Don't let football use you. Don't turn into a butthole when you lose, because it's all going to be good. So welcome to the program. To all of my peeps. Get this all set right in there. I am the Villlain. What's up? Let's say hello. Let's say hello to the peeps. Let's get it in there. What's up, Rick C?
Say hello to my little friend.
That's right. We got Central Scrutinizer
like
in the house.
that?
Man, I love it. I see these faces. I'm starting to memorize all these names. Dwayne,
You like that?
love seeing you in here. Mark
You
G.
like that?
Mark G. Davey.
You like that?
What's up? Good morning, villains. Faith, family, then football. That's right. Tyler's in the house.
You like that?
Paul's in the house. What's up, buddy?
You like that?
The Trim Reaper.
You like that?
I like that. Jody's in the house.
You like that?
Tigers. Yeah, Tigers. It's so sad. What an epic meltdown. What up? What up, Jody?
You like that?
Glad to see everybody in here. I am very glad to see it. So let me get this thing in the background here. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that game. Here comes that game. What are the Lions going to do about this great defense? I just got done watching a couple of the replays on the Browns this year. And, they got good victory in the first week. And, they got a good victory last week against the Green Bay Packers. And they lost to the Bengals in week 1 by 1 point. And then, I think that the stats are a little bit deceiving with the Browns losing to the Ravens the prior week, 41-17. There's a couple things that are deceptive in that. For one, the Browns getting 17. I mean, there was a touchdown pass that should have been intercepted and got tipped right into the hands of a Browns player where they got one of their touchdowns. The defense for the Browns is insane. They have an insane defense. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. But I do believe that there are things that we can expose them with. And I wanted to kind of go over that a little bit first, if you don't mind. What do you think about the game? And you know what? I want to address one of these things in here. The Tigers' sad end, an epic meltdown. I mean, how sad is that? Before we get into the Browns game, how sad is that Tigers meltdown? Because I was puffing my chest out. The Villlain was puffing his chest out in the middle of the season. I was like, wow, that's really cool. We got good Lions. We got good Tigers. Could get there with both teams. It felt good. And then it was just a meltdown. I mean, the meltdown. It's crazy how bad they melted down. I mean, you have a big lead on the second place team, and you play them 6 times, and you've already lost 5 in a row to the Cleveland Guardians. How did you let them get back in? That's crazy. It's a crazy meltdown. I got called out on my page for not talking about how epic and how close the Guardians and the Tigers are in the Ultimate Series. I mean, there's over 1,000 games played, and it's like the Cleveland's 1 game ahead now. They asked me why I didn't talk about it, and it's like, well, because it just kept on getting closer, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that you had a pretty big lead on the Cleveland Guardians, and not just this season, like in the overall. And the Guardians just inched their way back in, and they've been playing well. That might be a dangerous team to win it all, just because of that's probably the hottest team in baseball right now is the Guardians. So, what are your thoughts on the Tigers meltdown? I mean, did you put a lot of stock into it? Is it just not that big of a deal because we've been riding on the Lion high for the last couple weeks? Let me know what you think. Dwayne Keene says, let's go Blue Michigan Wolverines football. Well, I'm not a Wolverine fan, but you can do that. I'm not gonna hate on you for loving the Wolverines. Even though I'm a Buckeye fan, I don't hate Michigan fans like they hate Ohio State fans. And that's even after losing 5 in a row, or for 5 years straight, or however many years it's been. Good streak by Michigan. Buckeyes won a national championship last year. I know some Michigan fans would like to say because they won a regular season game that somehow that doesn't count. But, it is what it is. You have to play four teams in the tournament now to win the national title, which I think it's harder. It's harder to win the national title than it's ever been before because you have to go through a tournament. But we'll have to see what happens this year, Dwayne. We can do something special for the Michigan-Ohio State game this year if you want. I'm willing to embarrass myself. As you've seen, me wearing some Michigan gear over the last couple of years with Main Event Mike. Rick says he doesn't pay attention to baseball anymore. I started paying attention to it this year, at least for this program. So when the Lions off season doesn't hit, my page doesn't have to die. Trim Reaper said, ready for some brownies. We got eat some Ravens for dinner, some brownies for dessert. Let's keep it going.
You like that?
Bruce says that the young offensive line had a coming out party, one pride. I'd like to see that. Oh, you got your week 4. We'll get to the week 4 picks. On Saturday. We're going to pick against the spread on Saturday if you guys want to know how that goes. This is the Lion Villlain Report. For everybody just walking in, just coming in right here and right now, the Lions Villlain Report. I come to you every day, normally. The only times I'm not going to be coming live every day is on Sunday. Obviously, that's game day. And then if something my son has to do. My son has autism, and when he is home from school, I can't really come up here and do the shows. I got to pay attention. So that's where I was yesterday. But this is the Villlain Report, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m., talking Lions football during the season. Love you to come over there. Hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit that follow button. If you're a fan of Detroit sports, connect with us. I'm the UDFA of sports podcasting. That means I'm just a grinder. I don't got no big endorsements. I'm just a fan with a fan page, with a fan show, talking football. And that's what we do. So thank you, everybody.
You like that?
For doing that, for being on here. So let's talk a little bit about this game, man. I watched the Browns games, and that defense is for real, guys. This isn't going to be some kind of easy, walk in the park just because it's the Browns. I know that we make fun of them. We had fun making fun of the Packers for dropping that game, but this is a real team. Like if the Lions go in there and they don't take this team seriously, the Browns are going to beat the Lions too. And I know that they're not going to do that, but don't think for a second that the Villlain is underestimating how good the Browns defense is. So let's talk about a little bit about these Browns. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. He's been their coach for a couple years now. Head coaching, six years. He was the AP Coach of the Year in 2020 and 2023. He was with the Minnesota Vikings from 2006 to 2019 and became the OC in 2019, which obviously got him his head coaching job. He is the play caller. He was the play caller in 2024, but then the offense regressed. He passed those duties on to offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, and when Dorsey couldn't improve the offense in the final 8 games, he was fired. You're fired. And the solution for 2025 was to promote with from within, and Stefanski is reassuming the play calling duties. So I'm not really worried about who the offensive coordinator is. So I don't care. His name is Tommy Rees. But if he ain't calling the plays, I don't really care. He was promoted from the passing game special, so they did promote from within. The key staff, I don't know if you remember, Deuce Staley is their running backs coach, who used to be our running backs coach here. I believe it was in 2022. So that was nice. The offensive scheme, they got Joe Flacco. That's right. Run first concepts or run first play, do a little bit of play action. Lots of pre-snap motions. They like to do screens. They love to throw the ball to their running backs. It's pretty much everything that they would do. I think Lions offense or defensively against the Browns offense, they might be able to eat. They might be able to eat in there. Because we do a man cover scheme. We don't do a lot of and that means that we're going to be covering those backs out of the backfield. We got great linebackers to cover that, and that's where a lot of their offense comes from. So, Joe Flacco is 40 years old, and he looks his age. So through 3 games, he's got 2 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. They're the heaviest passing team in the NFL, but the passing DVOA is 31st. The yards per play is 31st. Like I said, he likes to drop back and throw passes to his running backs all day long. Looking like a lot like the Lions did in week 1 versus the Packers. That's what their offense looks like. The offensive line has allowed 53 pressures. That's 31st in the NFL, but only 6 sacks, which is 12. So Joe Flacco's gotten a little bit lucky. He gets pressure, and then he's able to get the ball out to a running back. That's what's the thing. Pressure arrives in 2.69 seconds, despite defenses only blitzing 17% of the time, which is the lowest rate in the NFL. So teams are getting pressure on the Browns without having to blitz. Now, Kelvin Shepard likes to blitz. So I think that the pressure is going to be, I think they're going to force the Browns into some mistakes here. I think they're going to force them to get rid of the ball fast. I don't think they're going to eat against our defense. The defense is starting to come into its own and starting to feel. They did a great job last week against the Ravens defense or Ravens offense. Wide receivers don't get quick releases versus man. Zone coverage shrinks and stretches to the sidelines to take away the 5 to 12 yard area. So, offensively versus the Browns offense versus the Lions defense, very, very big advantage for the Detroit Lions. Looking through some of that stuff. Let's get back into some of these comments in here. I think we might see the Lions pass the ball a little more this game. I think so too, even though it's scary with Myles Garrett coming at you. If you got Myles Garrett, that dude is a beast. Probably the best defensive player in the NFL. He should have let them trade him, but, you know, he loves those Browns. John says, thanks to the Browns for helping us out, but now we got to put that beat down on you. Yeah, I think that the Green Bay Packers opened up some eyes. You know, I don't think teams are going to be underestimating the Browns anymore. Oh, doesn't that figure? The Yankees rule? The Yankees rule? So, apparently Green Bay Packer fans are also fair weather fans. So, you're telling me that you just happen to be a Yankees fan when they win. Interesting. Dogs are for real. MCDC and Johnny will have a plan for the dogs.
You like that? You like that? You like that?
Never in my life would you see a dog beat a lion. It ain't gonna happen. Now, a dog might be able to beat a packer because no one knows what what the hell is a packer. No one knows. It's like they made that up as they went along. Then they must have a packing company in Green Bay or something like that. Acme, something like that. We need a jet sweep for Jameson Williams. Shout out to Broski Bear.
You like that?
He should be in a good mood. Beat up on the Dallas Cowboys. And now the Packers get to beat up on the Dallas Cowboys. Good morning, Chad.
You like that?
Dwayne's got to go at green. Or Mark says to Dwayne, go green. It's all put in here. I think I lost a whole bunch of followers. Tell them I'm a Buckeye fan. That's okay. That's all right. I'm a Lions fan first. I'm a Lions fan before I'm at anything. And the people that know me know that. I am a Lions fan first. I mean, as you can tell, like this was a complete Lions page for 2 years. We just added the Tigers in here. Sonic and Gibbs are going to have a big game. You think so? That is a really, really good team against the run. I'm telling you, this is not... I mean, if we can score a lot of points against this team, I'll be very surprised. Don't let that Browns versus the Ravens, don't let that fool you. You have to go watch the game in order to understand how it got there. Okay? The Browns, when they went up again, and this was their big offense, or the biggest thing that they gave up in points, right? They only gave up 10 points to the Packers, and they only gave up 17 points to the Bengals. So you're like, well, what did, was it just all Lamar Jackson? No, it was the defense. It was the defense making plays on the Browns' offense that really made this happen. I mean, Lamar had 4 touchdown passes, but as you can see in there, he's not throwing for a lot of yards, right? Let's look at that. Lamar Jackson, 225 yards, 4 TDs. They couldn't get anything going on the ground. I mean, Lamar Jackson, 2 carries for 13 yards. Now, that is a good defense for the Browns to hold them to those type of stats. Now, why did they score 41 points? Well, they had a blocked punt, couple interceptions, and it just left the Ravens in a very advantageous situation on a lot of that stuff. They had a 10-yard field on one of them. So let's not overestimate here how well that the Ravens did against the Browns and just assume that the Lions are just going to be able to run it up like the Ravens did. Okay? The Villlain doesn't sugarcoat here, okay? Now, I understand that we want to pump our chests out there. The Lion fan base, we're feeling really, really good because that victory against the Ravens is a really, really good victory. And not even our haters or our detractors that are in here would tell you or try to give you any excuse other than the fact that that was a really, really good victory against the Ravens this week. Just like in week 1, the Packers had a very, very good victory against the Lions. Now, we don't want to blow it like the Packers did and take all that good feelings and then lose to a team that you shouldn't lose to. Because you know who's going to be in here right off the get-go is going to be Steve and Robert in here telling us if we lose to the Browns. So do not underestimate the Browns. I know that our team won't underestimate the Browns. I know that Dan Campbell's not underestimating the Browns. He already called them the best defense in the NFL. Mark says Buckeyes were good for Spielman, Tyleek, and Deckard. Hey, that's all good, man. We get good college players. See, when it comes to college football, here's my most powerful opinion on college football. I do like the Buckeyes, but I don't go into like the rage for college football. And here's the reason why. You're talking about kids. You're talking about 18 to 20-year-old kids right there. So when it comes to college football, first and foremost, I root for all college football players because they're kids. I'm 50 years old, so I'm not going to go after kids. That's one of the reasons I don't talk a lot of college football, because I have a hard enough time when people say, pro athletes suck. And I speak against that all the time because there are no bad players in the NFL. And I even believe that to a degree in college sports. You don't make it onto a college team by being bad at any of that stuff. So that's the way I feel about it.
You like that?
I hope you like that. Throwing it back at those fool's gold Packers. That's right. Dan Campbell called you, broski? Why would Dan Campbell call you? Did he call you the week that we beat down the Bears? Did he call you for advice? Did you turn on your team, broski? But the Browns don't stink on offense. I got a feeling that if the Browns can string together a couple little victories here and there, and then, what about Shadur Sanders? Are they going to give him a shot this year? Or Dylan Gabriel? We'll have to see how that happens. Let's talk about some other stuff right here. Now it's the defense. They attack with a 4-2 heavy press man with single high, cover 1, cover 2, or 3. Staples of the scheme. It's a 4-3 base, 4-2 nickel, center safety over half of the time. So they use one safety up there. So that tells me something right off the bat. That tells me that you only have one safety. And our offense, if you can give Goff enough time, maybe they'll have to do max protect scheme, but with our offensive line, if you give Goff enough time to get Jameson Williams down the field, it could be a big game for Jameson Williams. If you're only using one safety, well, you're only going to be able to cover one side with Isaac Tesla or Jameson Williams. One of those two guys with that long-range speed with only one deep safety, you know, either they're not going to be able to play the way they want to play, or we could expose that offense, or we could expose that defense, throwing the ball over the top if they can get the protection that they could get. Broski's so full of himself. I love it. He calls you for advice on anything, right? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Let's see what else we got in here. So here's a stat right here. The blitz rate for the Browns is 28%. That's the middle of the pack. But stacked boxes, 31% of the time. They sell out to stop the run. That's the sixth most in the NFL. So they're selling out to get pressure. They're trying to wreck your play before you can get anything out. Right up on the line of scrimmage. Pressure, 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 pressure. Stacking the box, keeping the linebackers right in the middle with one safety up high. They sell out to stop the run. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to be able to run on them. That just means that they sell out to stop the run. They were able to stop Derrick Henry and whoever Cincinnati's running back is. And they were able to stop Josh Jacobs. So I honestly don't think that we're going to get a lot of running going. I think it's going to be a defensive game that the Lions are going to get a couple big plays. I still think they're going to win by double digits. But I don't think it's going to be right off the gate. I don't think we're going to hit the ground running right away on this defense. I don't. I think it's going to have to be getting that armor. You got to beat through that armor first. And then they could get some big plays. I think they can win this game with big plays. What do you think about that? Because I'm just going through here. I'm looking at Pride of Detroit's article on it, breaking down the Browns, and that's what I really saw. The run defense is impressive. They're first in the NFL. Number one, rushing yards allowed, 57.3 yards a game. Rushing yards per play, 2.3 yards. They have the fewest 10-plus yard explosive rushes. Only two 10-plus yard rushes through 3 games. And that's going up against 2 top 10 backs in Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry. That's good, man. We're going to have a hard time running against this team. That's just the realness of it. They are top 10 in passing situations. Passing yards allowed per game, 147. That's 4th in the NFL. 5 yards average on a pass play, which tells me that it's mostly checkdowns. They have 11 sacks, which is third in the NFL. The sack rate, 11.8%, which is first in the NFL. And yards after catch, 217 yards after catch, which is seventh in the NFL. Edge Myles Garrett should be an early defensive player of the year. Go figure. He's second in the NFL with 4 sacks, 5.3% sack rate, which is third in the NFL, 12 QB pressures, which is 8 in the NFL, and 16% pressure rate, which is 8th in the NFL. Garrett gets to the quarterback 2.84 seconds on average. The other edge, Isaiah McGuire, actually gets there in 2.5 seconds. Malik Collins, defensive tackle, 2.4 seconds, and rookie Mason Graham, 2.7 seconds. So we have a way better offensive line. I get that. I understand that. But this is a dog team on defense. When you have a defense like that, you can win the game with 13 points. So I know we had some fun on Monday making fun of the Packers for losing to the Browns. But the reality is the Browns have a really good defense. It's not fake. They are going to give lots of teams a hard time. If you can get 20 points against the Browns, you should win the game. But it's really hard to get to 20 points. Just saying. You are watching the Lion Villlain Report. You can join me every day, Monday through Saturday. 10 a.m. talking football. We can talk baseball too. You got to throw it into the comments. I'm not going to make up like they brought it up today. I don't mind talking about some baseball. You just got to ask a question about it. But join me each and every day right there. We appreciate everybody that is liking and subscribing and becoming part of our network. Liking, commenting, sharing. Are you a fan of Detroit sports? Connect with me. I'm all over the place. Wherever you scroll, the Villlain rolls. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I really need some help on the YouTube. Help me get over 1,000 subscribers. I got 81,000 people on this Villlain Squad Facebook page, and we're trying to get to our first 1,000 on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Give the Villlain a helping hand. I appreciate that. And as always, this episode is brought to you by Fanatics.com. You can use that link in the description, save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners over at Fanatics. Lions got a big game on Sunday versus the Cleveland Browns. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can get your early predictions in. That's good. Good stuff. If you're down with the Detroit Lions and you love them, give me a hell yeah. If you don't know what to type into the comments and you don't want to ask a question, just give me a hell yeah. Yeah. Or you could be like this guy right here. Well, you should have listened to me. You should have got a pass rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson because you can't get any pass rush. And it has nothing to do with the fact that you had 26 guys injured last year. You're just making excuses. I'm not negative. I'm realistic. Same old Lions. Shut up. Shut up, dude. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Should have listened to you. Where's that guy now? Last week they get 7 sacks. You still feeling like you need Zadarius Smith? Muhammad has proven to be better than Davenport and Zadarius Smith. so far this season. I do not subscribe to the hate out there, Brad Holmes, what he didn't do. Just because the Packers signed Micah Parsons and traded for him, that is not an indictment on Brad Holmes and what he did or didn't do. He made his decisions. And the problem with some of the opinions out there is that you want to say that he messed up before you've even seen his hand play out yet. You don't know what's in Brad Holmes' hand. And right now, he just showed you something last week by getting an insane amount of pressure on Lamar Jackson, and the week before that on Caleb Williams. And they did it without trading future assets, and high ones at that, and then paying an obscene amount of money. I never understood why people wanted Zadarius Smith so bad. I wanted him back too. But when you cut a guy to save $6 million, you can't sign him for $9 million. You just can't do it. If you do that, then the Villain's going to criticize you for being a dumbass. Kudos to Brad Holmes for sticking to his guns. If he would have signed Zadarius Smith for $9 million like the Eagles did, he would get criticism from me. You don't cut a guy for $6 million and then sign him for $9 million, even with incentive. He bet on different players. That's it. That's all he did. And so far, he's proving you wrong. Those signs of Darius people, they're quiet right now because they just want to wait until the defensive line has a bad day, and then they come out. And then they complain. But right now, they're not complaining. How could you complain after getting 7 sacks? And only one of them came from Hutchinson. I can't ask the football guys. I can't go, all right, I'll be happy as long as we can stop a mobile quarterback and if we can get sacks opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, sacks coming from not Aiden Hutchinson. I'll be happy if that happens. I can't come on here and tell you that I'm not happy after everything that I asked for was gotten. So, I love the Lions team. I love what they've done. I love that we don't have to sit here and so far and look at like a 1-2 team like a lot of people thought we would be. I mean, some people thought we might have started 0-3. That Ben Johnson. I mean, all of a sudden, now that Ben Johnson's in Chicago, everybody that is on the Lions team completely forgot how to play offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown can't catch the ball anymore. Jared Goff can't throw it anymore. All of a sudden, Penei Sewell forgot how to block. Jahmyr Gibbs forgot how to run. Montgomery forgot how to run. All of our players just forgot how to play offense. We can't do anything without Ben. I knew that. I knew that wasn't going to be like that, but it's hard. It's hard going through a whole offseason with everybody talking trash. And they're not going to come in here and admit they were wrong. They just stay quiet. That's all I heard out of Broski for the whole summer. You ain't going to be able to do nothing. Now you're done. From Robert. Oh, you ain't nothing. Now you're done. You don't have your defensive coordinator? Now, I admit that it didn't happen right off the bat like I thought it did. I was wrong on that. But it's taken a couple weeks, and it looks like they're fine. It looks like John Morton is a kid in a candy store. Wow. What a great job to be an offensive coordinator when you can call plays and you have the players to make all of your plays work. That's what happens when you got Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker. And you got some young guys in the middle. To me, the bigger thing that the Lions had to get over was losing Frank Ragnow. Losing Frank Ragnow was my biggest concern because he was the player that was there. And if you look at it, I just posted something, a stat where it showed all the PFF guys for our offensive line, and right there it is. The worst offensive lineman that we have on the team right now is the center. And that's not even that bad of a deal, especially when you look at last week. You know, the worst offensive lineman was Frank Ragnow at a 62 overall, which is good. That's not even all that bad. But in week one, no, you can't have those guys in the 40s. But the rookie Tate Ratledge, according to PFF, at this point, he's a top 10, actually, if you just want to say top 6 offensive guard. Out of 64 guards, he's number 6. Mahogany's middle of the pack. He's at 33. But the bad thing is Graham Glasgow is 33rd in the league as centers. That means that all of the starters are better than him, and one of the backups is a better center. So I guess that would be a question out there. Do you think that the Lions should go out and try to upgrade the center position, or do you think Frank Ragnow will be fine? Because I can live with a 62 overall with PFF if that's your worst offensive lineman. That's not that bad when all of the other guys are performing out of their minds. That right side of the offensive line with Ratledge and Sewell, some of that blocking that they did was insanely good. It was so cool to watch it run like that. Some of those big run plays where you have like Sewell and Ratledge double teaming a guy, and he kind of peels off of the guy and then goes to the second level. That's where I think that the Lions are really, really good on the offensive line with Hank Fraley, is not just the initial blocking and giving Jared Goff time, but in the run game, peeling off of their first assignment and then getting to the second level and then getting a second block. That's why you see those explosive runs, because if you can get on a second level and start taking out linebackers and you're opening up those holes, I mean, come on. And then you have all of the talent. Oh man. Broski backtracking now. Oh, I never said that. I never said that you never said the offense would be fine. That's funny. Shep is going to be a better than AG. I agree with that. And I don't think it's even AG's fault. I think that AG had to develop all of this talent that was on the Lions. You know, you drafted these guys from rookies. You know, Brian Branch. You know, the Jack Campbells of the world with Aiden Hutchinson. You get these guys as their rookies, and they're learning how to become pros. You get 3 years into their deal or 2 years into their deal. You know, AG may be a better coach. But the talent is blossoming more for Kelvin Sheppard than it ever would for you're getting the best version. Kelvin Sheppard is getting the best version of these players. Better, or I shouldn't say the best versions because they're not as good as they're going to be, even now, as good as they're going to be. But Kelvin Sheppard is getting better versions of the exact same players than Aaron Glenn did. It's the truth. So, Kelvin Sheppard may, on paper, is going to look like a better defensive coordinator than Aaron Glenn. And that's okay to say that. There's nothing bad about that. AG, better coach than Dan Campbell. I don't know where you get that from. I have no idea where you would get that from. Dan Campbell might be the best coach in the NFL. I mean, all he's done is put the numbers up for it. You go from 3-13 to 9-8 to 12-5 to 15-2. And now here you are with a tough schedule. You're at 2-1. He keeps improving the team. That's all you would want. I think a lot has to go wrong for the Lions to lose on Sunday. I believe that too. I got one more topic in here before I'm going to let you guys go. And not really a topic, but I wanted to go over the cap stuff here for Jameson Williams' contract. Let's talk about it. Now, Jameson Williams signs a 3-year extension, but what does that actually look like? What does that actually mean? What does that actually mean as far as the cap goes? So, Jameson Williams, gets like $28 million a year, and it doesn't reflect. This is another one of those things I want you guys to realize. And the point that I'm going to prove with this exercise is that we don't have to choose which guys that we want to sign. Like that's been a popular debate from Lions content creators is, well, we don't have any money to get any guys like Micah Parsons because of the cap. We don't have any. So you're going to have to choose which guys you want. You want Laporta, Branch, Campbell, or Gibbs? Which ones? You only get 2. Hell, I only get 2. We're getting all of them. They're going to re-sign Gibbs. They're going to re-sign Laporta. They're going to re-sign Brian Branch. They're keeping all of the core guys. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to do it because the cap, in a sense, isn't real. I mean, I've been on here talking about you can't afford it, you can't afford to do this, you can't afford it. Now, one thing I don't think that you can afford to do is to hire and pay 2 Aiden Hutchinsons. I think that the Micah Parsons trade for the Lions, if you actually want to sign all your guys, has to be a myth because you can't pay 3 guys $50 million plus. You just can't do it. But you can pay your Aiden Hutchinson, and you can pay Jameson Williams, and then you can kick that can down the road like they've been doing, right? So here's Jameson Williams. Year 1, his base salary is 1.6 million. Is that coming through? Oh, I got it. Hold on a minute. My bad. Let me put that back in there for you. All right. So there's this 1.6 million for the first year base salary. The cap number was only $7 million for year one. That's for this year. Next year, Jameson Williams, 1.25, 1.2, $8 million. Only goes up by $1 million. So you're not so cap strapped, are you? Actually lowered his cap number because he signed a 5th-year option. And on his 5th-year option, he was slated to make probably around 20 million, maybe 17 million, right in that area. So signing him to an extension actually freed up more money because look at this number. This number was over 50 million in being over the cap for next year. So this Jameson Williams move actually lowered some of that cap number for next year. 2027. $1.2 million base salary. The cap number jumps up to 10 million. Okay. So we're still not hurt. So we got Jameson Williams for 2025, 26, and 27. And it's not hurting us that bad on the cap yet. Let's keep going. 2028. 1.3 million. Oh, the cap number only goes up to 14 million. Oh, okay, so there's 4 years with Jameson Williams. No big cap hits yet. Let's keep going. There we go. Jameson Williams, 1.45 million in 2029. That number goes up to $20 million. Still haven't even hit. Oh, I thought he signed a $30 million a year contract. Well, he did. And like I criticized the Philadelphia Eagles for this, the Lions are starting to do it for 2030. Now, because we want to win, the Lions are officially opening up their window for 2025, 26, 27, 28, and 29 to win Super Bowls. You're not killing yourself on any of these contracts and keeping these guys. Now, obviously, you got some work to do in 2029, and in 2030, I mean, just like the Philadelphia Eagles, you're trying to win right now. That's what the Lions are going to try to do. They're going to open up this 5-year window with all of their contracts because Jameson Williams is not going to affect their cap until 2030. Not in any kind of way. Now, you will be able to do other things like next year. Oh, my God. Jared Goff's cap number is $69 million. What are we going to do? Well, they're going to restructure the contract because your base salary is $55 million, which means you have $55 million worth of equity on this $69 million. You could lower that contract all the way down to $1 million base salary and free up all that money. And that completely solves that problem. One extension takes care of their cap problem for next year. And frees up money to sign Gibbs, Laporta, and Branch. Because you can see how these contracts are wording. They can take Gibbs, Branch, Laporta, and Campbell, sign them all to multi-year deals that go until 2030. So the illusion of the contracts, or we can't sign this guy, or we can't sign that guy. Why doesn't Brad Holmes just go out and spend all this money? This is why. I just paved out a way for the Lions to keep every single one of their guys that they have. And that's what they want to do. Micah Parsons is a great player, but he hasn't been here. We don't want him. Not us. I would like to have a player that good opposite Hutchinson. But I want these other players more. I want to keep the guys that have been down in the foxhole with us. I don't want to take a guy like Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and have them work their ass off for 3 years to try to, move up the ranks and be part of our team. And then in year 4, we just throw them off the ship and sign somebody from the outside. I'm not even throwing shade back at Micah Parsons. He's a great player. Or Myles Garrett or whoever you're going to trade for that you think is going to put the team over. You're going to let that outside person jump Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and Aiden Hutchinson on the contract deal after they've earned it? And by the way, Brad Holmes' shit's working. They didn't go out and sign the big guy, and yet they're still. Let's see what else we got on here. What's you gonna do when the Lions mania run wild on you? Yeah. There you go. Mark says that a lot of J-Mo's success depends on how much the Lions are willing to use him in the offense. As of now, he doesn't get many targets in the game. He's more of a decoy on the offense. Well, that's taking what the defense gives to you. Like, I don't think that you're going to see the way that they're using J-Mo, Mark. I agree with you. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Because if he has to be a decoy, he's going to be a decoy. If you got 2 high safeties and they're backing way off and they're opening up the middle of the field and Jameson's not your middle of the field guy, well, the guys in the middle of the field are going to eat first. Laporta's going to eat. Gibbs and Montgomery out of the backfield are going to eat. Amon-Ra St. Brown running across is going to eat. And Jameson would eat too, as long as there's somebody keeping 2 safeties in the back. Now, ask the Bears about what happens when you come up to the box to stop the run, and then you leave Jameson Williams on a free run. Well, you're going to see Jameson Williams with a lot of stats that are like, 4 catches for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're going to catch him on the big plays. That's why he's here. I don't need you to have 12 catches a game, J-Mo. I just need you to have 3 really big ones. Thank you.
You like that?
I appreciate you agreeing with me. Central Scrutinizer. Rick C. agrees with me. Brad will get everybody signed unless their trade value exceeds their roster value. Now, I thought Jameson Williams was right there with that, Rick. I thought Jameson Williams might have been expendable because of that, because you could see that happen. But it wouldn't be because you wanted to get rid of Jameson. I think Jameson would have been expendable if it's like you want to trade him to a different team. And right now with that contract, the way that it is, with it being $40 million, you might want to trade that thing. You might want to trade that thing by the end of it. But no, that's you want to get everybody signed. And if you could have gotten like a Tyreek Hill type of trade where you get a couple first round picks and stuff like that, yeah, But no, but now since they got him signed, they're going to be able to sign everybody. I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Spirit of Detroit podcast? Y'all need to find some way to complain. So happy to pay pennies for nothing. And it's not your money typical. I don't even know what you're even talking about. Talk about coming in and calling out the host when you didn't even pay attention to what I said. Insane. Wow. I love getting trolled. That's fun. That's fun. I'm talking about how since the Lions signed Jameson Williams all the way through 2030, that they're going to be able to sign all of the players that they want to sign. We're not going to have to choose between Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and Laporte or whatever. They're going to sign all of them. And then you can see it because they're able to kick that can down the road in the model that the Philadelphia Eagles are using with the void years. And the Lions don't want to overpay for people outside of the organization. They want to pay their own players. And if you go and sign some big dude from outside of the organization, you're going to have less money to spend on your own players. And most people don't think that the Lions can even afford to sign all of their own players. I didn't say I would trade J-Mo. That's why you need to listen before you just come in and start running your mouth. Why would you trade J-Mo? I don't want to trade J-Mo. I'm saying that he was the one that would have been the expendable one out of all of them because he had the highest value. The highest value. And I just spent 15 minutes saying how it was a good thing that they re-signed Jameson Williams so they could re-sign everybody. Typical haters coming in on my show, not even listening to the whole context and coming in with big opinions. And I actually agree with you. I don't want to trade J-Mo. I might consider it after he has 2 Super Bowl seasons and is getting towards the end of that contract. And if somebody offered me 2 first and a second round pick for Jameson Williams after he's already done his job for us, you think about it at all. I think the Browns would have been idiots for trading Myles Garrett. I think that I think that the Lions should sign all of their own guys. You've developed your own guys. They've been in your system. They know how your practices work. They know where the cafeteria is. I don't act like the money is mine. I even had a live stream where I wanted to pick Brian Branch over Kirby Joseph. You are a cheapskate. We all trust Brad, but you? Wow. Say you don't watch my show without saying you don't watch my show. It's nice to see you on here. I like a good debate. But you're not giving me a very good look here, Spirit of Detroit podcast, because I've never came onto your show or tried to run you down before. And if every time I'm here it's about money, then you've been here twice. You've been here twice in 6 months. Spirit of the Detroit podcast woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Somebody's shitting his Cheerios and it wasn't me. I'm talking about the Jameson Williams contract today. And that's what it is. And I broke down the contract and how it was a good thing today. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that. But this is the Lion Villlain Report. Evidently, all I do is talk about contracts and spending money that I don't have. And I'm getting corrected by the bigger podcast coming in trying to bully me. But I'm not going to take that. I'm the UDFA of sports podcasting. I'm going to continue to work hard and keep putting out my content. And one thing that I definitely won't do is go to other podcasts and run them down. Not a good look for you, Spirit. You can come on here and run me down every single time, but that's not a good look for you. You can join me each and every day during the season at 10 a.m. talking football, talking about Browns defense, talking about the next game. And when contract information comes out about players that we sign, I'll even talk about the contracts. And I'll even get to deal with haters, which is fun. And it's faith, family, then football, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. You don't have to like me. I don't expect you to like me. But I'll tell you what my opinion is, and you can like my opinion or you can not like my opinion. Use football. Use football to spend time with your family. Use football to create memories with your family. Don't let football use you. Us Lions fans, we've had plenty of experience in losing. And you can lose gracefully. You can lose with class, and you can lose with dignity. You don't have to punch holes in your wall or treat your family like crap. And that's why we put our faith and our family first, and then football, in that order. It's important. This episode is brought to you by fanatics.com. That's right. If you bleed 313 and you're rocking with the Honolulu Blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking official Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, Red Wings drip so icy it should come with a Zamboni. So here's what you do. You click that link in the description. Save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners at Fanatics. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that Detroit fans do it bigger. They do it better. Villlain Squad don't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. Detroit, the Villlain Squad is now up to 81,000. We appreciate all of the support. Connect with us. Connect with us. We're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the Villlain rolls. Connect with us on all platforms and be part of the takeover. Tomorrow, we're going to continue the talk on, can the Lions handle this Browns defense? This defense that is one of the best defenses in the NFL. We are not to underestimate these guys. They are top 10 in the rush and in pass situations. One of the best defenses in the NFL. Do you think the Lions are going to be able to get some of that? Be able to run the ball against one of the best rushing defense in the NFL? Do you think there's any way that the Browns come in and upset the Lions? Or we're going there. Any way that the Browns upset the Lions like they did the Packers? I know that Dan Campbell won't underestimate these guys. Well, I appreciate you not bullying me. So what do you think? Browns defense in there? I'll leave it with you. Hey, you know what? I don't mind heated debates. Spirit, I'm not mad at you. I actually like that you come in at me. But just try to get some of the facts straight a little bit, and before you call me out for stuff. I haven't done a show about anything as far as the cap goes in probably a month or two. So maybe you're just the most unlucky guy on the planet, and the only time that you come on here is when I am talking cap, but I am not. I want Brad Holmes to sign all of our own guys. I'm not the kind of person that goes out and second guesses everything that Brad Holmes is doing, because he's proved it and he's earned it. And the criticisms on him so far are unwarranted. What he did or didn't do, in my opinion. And if it does come to a point where I think that he's missing out on stuff or being reckless or anything, I would call that out. I don't mind that they've re-signed Jameson Williams to the big contract. I am happy that we have that. The plan is actually looking pretty clear that we're opening up this window with the players that Brad Holmes drafted up until 2030. They're going to try to keep all of these people here so we can have 25, 26, 27, and 28. Obviously, I have to do a little bit of shuffling in 29, but 29 would work too. In 2030, that's where all the dead cap's going to hit. There may be problems in 2030. Same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. They did the same thing with the A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and all their guys. So, but that's a ways down the road. In a sense, the cap isn't real at all, because you can just move money down the road. But that'll be a discussion at a later day. Thank you so much for jumping on today with me on Faith, Family, and Football with the Villlain Report. Join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm going to leave you with the prayer right here. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Enjoy your football game tonight. Good luck to your fantasy teams. God bless you guys. My name is Russell Wayne, and I'll see you in the next video.
You like that?